What's up, Jeremians? The Yamaha PSR-E series are usually refreshed once every 2 years to make sure that the features are fresh, the sounds are fresh, and to make sure that people are upgrading their keyboard. Therefore, in about 2.5 months from the date of this video, Yamaha should be announcing their PSR-E200 series and PSR-E300 series refresh, usually announced at the NAMM show, which takes place in January every year. For me, the Yamaha PSR-E363 refresh is going to be important simply because the E363 is the cheapest and most affordable Yamaha keyboard which features touch-sensitive keys and is therefore one of the most affordable options for beginners who are just starting out to learn and don't need a lot of fancy functions but need a keyboard that will serve them well for the next 1 to 2 years while they're trying to learn the basics and getting up to speed with playing on the keyboard. Being only 2.5 months away from the announcement of the brand new PSR-E300 series, it would be too late for Yamaha to make any changes now, and most of these specs would have been pretty much firmed up and there would be little or no changes to what is eventually the final model that will be released. However, if there are a few things which Yamaha had added into the PSR-E363, it would have made it a much better value for money keyboard, especially with Casio coming out with their CT-X700 and CT-X800, which gives really good value money as well as good quality sounds for the price point, which is very similar to the PSR-E363. And with the newly launched Korg EK50, there is quite a bit of competition right now in the space of beginner keyboards. Without further ado, let me get started. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jeremy C, and in my channel, I talk about a range of keyboards, reviews, tutorials, tips and tricks. So make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell button if you don't want to miss out any of the videos that I post up. There are 10 items in this wish list that I feel Yamaha should implement in the upcoming PSR-E373. These features will make sure that the Yamaha PSR-E300 series will remain a very competitive entry-level keyboard at least for the next 1 or 2 years. And these features can be implemented at a very low or even no cost simply because what I'm suggesting may just take a firmware update and an internal update without the addition of any actual physical hardware addition. The first feature that I would like Yamaha to upgrade in the PSR-E363 is that of the default piano sound. There are many students who pick up the Yamaha PSR-E300 series simply because they want to use it as a beginner tool for learning the piano. And with Casio launching their AIX chip-based CT-X700 and 800 that is available at a very competitive price, the piano sound on the Yamaha PSR-E300 series is starting to sound a little dated. The Casio CT-X700 and 800 has the piano sound that is inherited from the Casio Previa digital piano line, and those are actually very decent samples. And if Yamaha wants to capture this segment, it should do something about the piano sound. What I suggest is that the live grand piano sound on the PSR-EW series, which is a much better sample, be actually moved down to the PSR-E300 series and the PSR-E400 series. The Yamaha PSR-EW series can then receive the Yamaha P series digital keyboard CFX grand samples. Second item on my wish list is that Yamaha include an additional intro and an additional ending. Right now, students have to sit through a very lengthy 4 to 8 bar intro and sit through a very lengthy 4 to 8 bar ending. Sometimes when you're just practicing or you're just going through some ideas, you don't want to have to sit through a very long intro or ending. Yamaha should include an additional intro, perhaps a little count in, to make sure students have a choice when playing their songs. This can be very easily and cheaply implemented simply because Yamaha can use the same intro and ending button to toggle between intro 1 and intro 2 and ending 1 and ending 2. There is no hardware cost to this, and those styles that are included in the PSR-E363 usually would have 2 or 3 different intros and endings found on the higher end keyboards anyway. The third item on my wish list for the Yamaha PSR-E363 is that Yamaha includes a separate button for the main A variation and the main B variation of the rhythm, and to include a little auto feel feature, which is very helpful. and we don't need to have multiple presses to trigger a fill-in. Having a separate main A and main B button would allow greater control during performances, moving between the verse and the chorus, and would just make the entire performance a lot more dynamic. And feature number 4 that I'm disappointed that till now Yamaha hasn't included it, even though other brand of keyboards has included it in this price range, is that of the tempo freeze. The tempo freeze feature is a very important feature for students who are learning a song. A student will usually want to start off learning on a lower tempo and eventually move up to the higher tempo. But right now, it takes a few more steps to make sure that the tempo does not jump when changing registration settings between the verse and chorus of a song. The 5th thing on my wish list is for Yamaha to give up that cheap looking cloth cover for the speakers. The cloth cover makes it very susceptible to being torn. It also is a massive dirt magnet. You realize that it attracts little lint here and there, and it's quite difficult to remove the dirt from there. And it simply just makes the keyboard look cheap. Keyboards from other brands in this same price segment has moved on to a metal grille to protect their speakers, but Yamaha has still stuck to its cloth speaker covers. The 6th thing that I wish Yamaha would change in a PSR-E363 is that of the color of the LCD screen. Orange colored LCD screen just looks a little bit dated, and the more contemporary blue colored LCD screen would be more welcome. The 7th item on my wish list is to change the way that registration memory setting is recalled. Right now, when a student wants to change from registration 1 to registration 2, it takes 2 steps. They have to first press the registration memory button and then followed by the number that they want to change to. It's really cumbersome. For a student who's just starting out to learn on the arranger keyboard but wants to change sounds between the verse and the chorus of a song, these double steps usually introduce a lot of mistakes in the song. Keyboards from other brands has already distilled it down such that it only takes a single button press to retrieve the registration memory settings, unlike Yamaha's PSR-E363, which requires 2 steps. And while we are at this registration setting topic, the 8th item on my wish list is that the registration memory setting should be able to save fills. That is because when a student is moving from a verse to a chorus and switching the registration memory setting, they will usually indicate the switch between verse and chorus with a fill-in. So incorporating this rhythm fill-in with the registration memory button would reduce the number of buttons that a student will have to press. So currently, my students who wants to move from the verse to the chorus of a song and wants to change registration setting as well as trigger a rhythm fill-in would have to press 3 buttons: the registration memory button, followed by the number of the registration settings that they want, followed by the rhythm fill. And that is just way too many steps for them to get their hands back together on the keyboard, continue playing the chorus. The 9th feature on my wish list for the Yamaha PSR-E373 is for a quick way to move between different functions. Right now, to find the many functions in the keyboard, one has to scroll through a lot of the different functions before getting to the specific function that we want. Most of the time, learners and musicians will be using the same couple of different functions. For example, setting the volume of each individual parts, adjusting the volume of the accompaniment, and being able to get to these functions very quickly using a function number would be a lot quicker than scrolling through the entire list of the available functions. And the very last item on my wish list that can be implemented without a lot of cost involved and yet make the Yamaha PSR-300 series a better keyboard for the next 1 or 2 years is the ability to save modified sounds. Right now, if I were to modify the sound on a PSR-E363, the only way to save those sounds is to save it inside a registration memory button. However, Yamaha could have perhaps allocated 5 to 10 banks where users can actually save their modified sounds to be retrieved in future for use. And that's all for the 10 items on my wish list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let's see how many of these items that I mentioned in this video will eventually appear in the Yamaha PSR-E373. I will bring you updated news the minute Yamaha launches that and announce details about this keyboard. I will also get hold of a unit of the PSR-E373 when it's launched to review the voices as well as the functions in the updated keyboard. So make sure you stay subscribed and stay tuned. Till the next time, be good. Bye-bye.